Hi, I'm Scott and welcome to my reselling channel. My wife Melody and I run an online sales business, and I do mean run. It's never been enough to just have a business. You have to run it. We sell on eBay, Poshmark, and Etsy, and primarily we sell vintage clothes, but we don't hesitate to pick up things that we find exciting that we think that we can turn for a profit. We started doing this full-time in 2018. My goal with this channel is to encourage and hopefully inspire other people to do some of the same. It's a tremendous opportunity to provide an income while being at home. Long ago, I began my adult work life at Foot Action, a shoe store in Central Texas Mall. And that's where I met Melody. I sold her a pair of shoes and me, and I'm sure she would tell you that she got a better deal on the shoes. We haven't really been apart since that day. I ended up going to work for her parents, running their blueprint company while I was still working on my undergraduate degree. Once I finished school, I went into elementary teaching, and I absolutely loved it. But the best parts of my life have always been focused around the kids and what we were able to provide. I never had any intentions whatsoever of leaving the classroom. None. It really was a wonderful time in my life. One day I got to work, and one of my best friends across the hall from me was wearing like business attire, not elementary teacher attire, like business attire, jacket, shirt, tie. And I was like, man, what are you doing? And he said, oh, I signed up for the master's program. I'm going to go into administration. So I did, because I wasn't going to let him just like win. And so the next thing I knew, I finished school and I ended up as an elementary principal. And again, great staff, great kids, loved my job. And the school that I ended up at, they came around one day and they said, hey, we're all signing up for the superintendent program, and we want you to do it too. I was like, oh, okay. I had no intention whatsoever of ever being a superintendent, but I did finish the degree, and eventually I made that direction. I finished my career in education, spending 12 years as a school superintendent, and loved it. I had a great career. I am definitely not somebody that left because I hated it or things were broken. I truly think the young generation is far better than my generation. In 2018, I had this incredible opportunity with my wife to completely reinvent myself, and an opportunity that put me back in control time-wise. We're taking care of aging parents. I want to spend more time with Melody, spend more time at home with my family. And as you can imagine, a school superintendent doesn't lend itself to that very well. So I retired from education, and we dove into reselling wholeheartedly. We're really going to give it a good faith effort. There were challenges to overcome. One of the first ones was we had to decide, what are we going to sell? I had eBay for a long time. I had a lumber mill, and I sold mesquite and lumber stuff, guy stuff, tools. And so that's what I was interested in. Melody was interested in clothes and makeup and hair stuff. And so one day when I was gone and she was at home by herself, we compromised and she bought 7 pallets of hair products. Wiglets. I was in the wiglets business. I had wigs, wiglets, hair extensions, Afro puffs, and the name of my eBay store was Old School Woodworks. So I had to change that because, she ruined it. And then we wound up selling clothes. And all joking aside, it's fantastic. The thing about clothes is they're always available. And the way that we compete with other people is that by focusing a little bit on a niche, that other people don't necessarily focus on as much, some of the vintage clothes, we don't have to push and shove to find the things that we need to sell. And so reselling for us has provided more of an income than my superintendent retirement ever could. And so my hope is that I can share with you some of the things that we've done, and you will find it exciting as well. Today, we have an amazing business, and it fits our life. It provides the things that we need it to provide. But reselling for me isn't necessarily a new adventure. If you back up to a long time ago, when I was a child, we just didn't have much. We didn't have much of anything. And my bus got to the junior high about 20 minutes before school started. And if I ran, I mean really ran, I could make it to the 7-Eleven and back before first period started. And one day, I did. The bus stopped. I took off. running. I got to the 7-Eleven and I bought a pack of bubble yum. Back then, bubble yum was 20 cents a pack. And of course, there's 5 pieces in a pack. And I chewed the first one before first period and didn't get caught with it. So it was all good. And if you know anything about junior high kids, it doesn't take them long to find out that somebody in the school has gum. And so before lunch, the kids had bought the 4 pieces that I had left for 10 cents a piece. The next day, bus stopped, I bolted, I took off running, and I went and got 2 packs. And keep in mind, any of the kids could have done this. Anybody could have made the run that I made, but they weren't willing to. They would rather give me a little bit and just buy the gum from me. By the end of the year, my financial empire had gotten to the point that I was able to buy my own school clothes. And that, for me, was a life changer. It allowed me to fit in with other kids when I never had. And my hope is that when we go through this, that it provides you hope. There's a lot of things that can happen in your life that you don't have control over. But this is one of the areas that if you're willing to run when no one else is, when you're willing to work a little bit harder than the other people, new opportunities open up, new control, new decisions that you get to make and that aren't made for you. And so my goal with the channel is to share the life that Melody and I have, which is fantastic, far more than I ever deserved. Share some of the things that we've learned, and keep in mind, we're still learning. I certainly don't know everything that there is to know about reselling or fashion or anything else. But we know enough now that we're in control. We are able to take the time that we have and allocate it the way that we want. It's not up to anybody else. And I'd like to have the same thing available for you. And it's there. It's possible. So I really appreciate you tuning in. I'm glad that you're here. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thanks.
Cool. All right, you ready, boy? Ready, boss? You can do this time? All right.